Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Watchdives WD0005. It's a new release from Watchdives. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but no matter how I get a watch in on this channel, it's not going to sway my review one way or another. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a link down in the video description. That is to the official Watchdives website. There you get the free FedEx delivery. You get 2 years or 3 years of warranty as well. That is an affiliate link, so if you do use that link, I do earn a little bit of commission that helps keep the channel running and helps keep getting in watches like these. The full retail price for this watch is $189 US. However, they are currently in a flash sale. I'm not sure how long that's going on for, but you can get $25 off, which brings the price down to $164 US. If you missed that flash sale, you can use this code here, ESCAPE10, for $10 off your purchase, and that does include free FedEx delivery. The watch comes in 3 different colorways that you can see here. They all have a slight fume effect to that very textured dial, and then they do also offer this with and without a date window at the 6 o'clock position, which is also color matched. So yeah, that's nice to see. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel, has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So when Watchdives announced this watch, they called it a top finishing model for $189. I really do hope that it is because, you know, that $175 to $200 range, it's packed with some pretty solid competition from the likes of Baltony, San Martin as well during the sale. So how does this stack up to those other watches? I say we dig in and find out, but before we do, doing a quick wrist check today, wearing the Ferrisuit watch that inspired the Patek Cubitus. I say inspired it because this watch actually came out before the Patek did. So this is not a Cubitus homage, even though it looks a lot like it. But this one will be coming up on the channel very, very soon. All right, let's get into dimensions. We've got a bezel diameter of 39 millimeters, total case thickness of 12.6 millimeters, and a 20 millimeter lug width. Approximate dial diameter of 32 millimeters, lug tip to lug tip of 45.4 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with 2 links removed. Weighs about 131 grams. So I think the size is great. It does have crown guards on it. It gives it a little bit more presence, but not too much. It's just a really nice size, good size dial, good size case. You have fairly slim profile as well, 12.6 millimeters. That does include the crystal there. But really nice thin mid case there. It looks thin, it wears nice. It's very comfortable on wrist. You see there's a little bit of turn down to the lugs as well. The bracelet will drop straight down, so I see this fitting really nicely on wrists down to about, I don't know, probably 6.25 inches or so. And I think it wears great on me too. So I'm gonna go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and I think it just wears great. The 39 millimeter size works good. The short lug to lug female end links make it drop straight down, so even smaller wrists than mine are going to have no problems with this, I don't think. You can see there, like I mentioned, a little bit of curve down to the wrist there. It hugs it nicely. It just sits nice and flat on wrist. And I mean, I just like the way it looks. I like all the little polished aspects on the case there, and they're done really nicely, as you can see out here. Kind of underneath this tree here, it's playing with those chambers nicely. So really happy with the bracelet as well. I was able to get a good fit on it. It's not the best bracelet, but far, far, far from the worst. So overall, I'm really happy with the way this watch looks and the way the watch wears. I think the crystal could use a little bit more AR coating, but I really don't think it's bad. It appears worse out here than it does in real life. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But I do think the watch is really nice, and I like the dial on it too. It looks really cool out here. Let's go throw it on some straps and let's get back to this review. And here we are in some direct sunlight. There you can see that texture really popping out. I think it looks awesome. The blue really pops. I'm hoping it comes across on camera, but yeah, I mean it just really pops, that blue color. It looks awesome. Everything else about it, pretty darn nice. It does have quick release spring bars, so let's go throw this on some straps and let's get back to this review. And here we are on a hemsuit leather strap. Really nice leather straps, guys. You guys check them out. I'll leave the link for this one down below. But yeah, I think that actually looks pretty good. The blue and the tan, I've always liked it. So What do you think? And I just had to throw it on an FKM cut to size strap. So here it is on a smooth gray FKM. I'll be leaving the link for this down below as well. Love these straps. I think the blue and gray looks pretty good. Yeah, here we are on a nylon strap, just one layer underneath the watch there. You can see it sits fine, no issues at all. No issues with clearances or anything like that either. So really happy with this one. Not a huge fan of the color on this one, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how it would kind of sit on a single pass nylon. We'll go throw it on a double pass to wrap this up, and we'll get back to the review. And lastly, to round this out, we've got the Cincy Strapco SF2. So this is their really low profile double pass nylon strap. You can see there, 2 layers underneath the watch, and it still wears very nice. It's not top heavy. It doesn't wobble around or anything like that either. So this is kind of this is their Admiralty gray, so it's kind of a bluish grayish, but I think it looks really good on this watch. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to the review. All right, so let's talk about the case and the case finishing. So the case finishing on this watch is actually really, really impressive. I have the St. Martin SN129 right over here. I think it's a fair comparison because they're finished exactly the same as the style is. So I'll bring that here in just a second. But you can see on the top of the bezel here, you have a circular brushing, and then that transitions to a nice polished chamfer there. I think it looks really good. I think the bezel looks nice as well. You do have a slight brushing on the very bottom edge of the bezel, but I think it looks good. Horizontal brushing on the case sides there, vertical brushing on the tops of the lugs, and then each of those are separated by really nice high polished chamfers. Transitions are just ultra sharp, as you can see there. They look really good. That chamfer, it runs all the way around and down underneath as well, so they do have a slight undercut on the case there. So it's super soft on wrist, which is really nice. The crown guards there, those are also polished, and again, really nicely done. Assigned screw down crown, good size, good grip, no issues with that. But yeah, I mean, the finishing on this watch, they say it's top notch or top quality or whatever they say, but I'm here to say it is extremely good. So I will bring in the San Martin here. So San Martin is on the left, Watchdives, actually San Martin is on the bottom, Watchdives is on the top there. You can see, I honestly think the Watchdives is done just slightly nicer, those polished chamfers there, I would say they are pretty darn close. I mean, pretty darn close. Sorry, I'm not trying to knock these things together, but yeah, really, really happy with it. I think the brushing on the Watchdives is just a little bit neater, and that's saying a lot because I do like the brushing on the San Martin. I think they both do an excellent job. They're just, I guess, slightly different. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I mean, you know, getting them up side by side like this, you can just tell how nice the Watchdives is compared to the St. Martin. I mean, it's right on par in my opinion. So really happy with the case finishing on the Watchdives. They did an excellent job with it. Flipping it over to the case back here, you can see just a sterile case back, screw down style, simple notches for a tool there. Yeah, nothing to complain about really. Everything down here is nice and soft. The bottom of the case is vertically brushed. Yeah, it's just done very good. They have all these little corners and stuff are knocked down nicely, so there's no real sharp edges on this case at all. It just feels good in hand, and it wears very comfortably on wrist. Now let's talk about the crystal. First things first, test it for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. So we do have a sapphire crystal there with anti-reflective coating. It looks to be a clear air coating. Nicely done. I think the air coating on this is just as good as the San Martin is. San Martin has a little bit of a blue tint to it, but as far as the clarity of it or the anti-reflectiveness of it, they're right on par with each other. So really no issues with that as well. So you can see here, it is kind of a box dome. It's a very low profile box dome, but you have a slight little radius here on the edge there, nice and flat on the top. So great at the extreme angles like this. A little bit of distortion on the edges. I think it looks great. I've got no issues with the crystal on it. I like the style of crystal. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. So the dial, really, really interesting. Lots and lots of texture. A lot of people say this is a Strom homage. I'll pop up the Strom here, and you can see the dial definitely does look Strom-like, but that's about it. There's nothing else to it. The case, the bracelet, the hands and indices, they're all different. So the dial itself has a little bit of a Strom look to it, but yeah, other than that, not too much going on. But the dial here is very nicely done. Like I said, lots of texture. There is a slight fume effect to all the colors as well. And like I mentioned earlier, you can get this with a color matched date wheel at the 6 o'clock position if that's your thing. So yeah, really cool to have that option. But the dial execution, very nicely done. You have a double baton there at the 12 o'clock position, single batons everywhere else. They are multifaceted as well, so they just kind of catch the light and sparkle really nicely. I wish there was a little bit of brushing going on, but I'm not too upset that it's not there. The handset that they chose, really nice size, reaching right out to the minute track. Second hand reaching right out past that minute track there. Printed minute track around the outside. Printed automatic 100 meters there, and then the printed Watchdives logo, which is nicely embossed on the pattern there. So I think it all looks very nice. You can see the print quality on it, high quality. Yeah, really nicely done. You can see the rehout on this, actually pretty slim for an NH35. So yeah, overall, I think the dial on this thing looks great. I have the San Martin, the SN0144 here, which was supposed to have a really textured dial, which inspired Watchdives to make this dial pattern. But you can see here, the San Martin just has very little texture to it. The Watchdives is just very, very textured. So if you're looking for a really nice textured dial, this is it. The lume that they applied on it, I'll pop up a Lume Shot here. So here it is against a couple other watches in the collection, including the SN129 from San Martin. So you can see here it's an ice blue glow, so it's a BGW9, so it's bright white during the day, that blue color at night. It fades pretty evenly. It's not the strongest lume that I've seen from Watchdives, but it's really usable lume, and that's all you can ask for in a go anywhere, do anything type of watch. I can read this in the middle of the night, so that's my main test. Is if I can't read it or can't read it easily, then it's a little bit of a problem. But this one I had no issues with, so overall I'm pretty happy with the lume on this watch. All right, so let's talk about the movement and the crown on this watch. So the movement inside is the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. It's the NH35 with a date, no matter if you get it with the date window or without. So you will have a ghost date position on the dateless dial. Just something to keep in mind. So yeah, the movements are great though. They're accurate, they're reliable, they're cheap and easy to replace. 21,600 beats per hour, so 6 ticks of the second hand every second. It hand winds about 40 hours of power reserve. You have a bidirectional winding rotor too, so it's nice and quiet. They're just great overall movements. This one, however, I won't say it's a dud because it does run pretty good, but when I first got this out of the box, I was hand winding it. It wouldn't start up. I was shaking it. It wouldn't start up, so I gave it the old NH35 palm thunk. So I guess the mainspring inside gets stuck sometimes and you got to thunk it on your palm. That started it up, but it's not running great on the time grapher. It's running plus 40 seconds, but there's lots and lots of background interference and stuff like that, so it's hard to get a good reading on it. But over a day, compared to another watch, it's only been running 10 seconds a day fast. So I don't know, it's an oddity for me. I think I just happened to get one that wasn't one of the best ones. So yeah, I'm happy that I took the hit and this didn't go to one of you guys. So yeah, yours should be fine. I think Watchdives, they usually do a really good job regulating the movements and stuff like that. And if you're not happy with it, they will help you out. So that's something nice to see. Other than that though, the watch functions just as you would expect it to. Screw down crown here at the 3 o'clock position. Nice, smooth screw in and screw out action. The crown tucks into those crown guards very nicely. There's plenty of grip on it though, so no issues setting the time. First position is your hand winding. Second position, like I mentioned earlier, there is a ghost date position back there. I can feel it clicking around and I can hear it clicking. And then third position hacks the movement. This is where you set your time. Everything functions right. The alignment on the hands was done good, so I can't complain too much. Now that this thing is running, it is running pretty good. So And then the screw in action, nice and smooth, picks up those threads immediately. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet. So the bracelet is 20 millimeters at the lugs, and it tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. I removed 2 links for my 7.5-inch wrist. They are split pin, so easy to size, no issues there. The 3 links, they are solid. You have solid end links, female pivot end links as well, and you do have my favorite feature on a watch, quick release spring bars. So they're starting to put these in all of their watches now, which is a huge bonus in my opinion. I'm a huge strap guy, so being able to quickly take this off and put it back on without a tool is excellent. The finishing on the links, very nicely done. You can see here, vertical brushing matches the case just perfectly. You have polishing on the sides. I think the brushing and the polishing that they've done, a little bit of a step up from their previous bracelets. That's just as far as the polishing or the finishing goes. Articulation of the links is fine, no issues there. Tolerances on these, actually pretty tight, except at the clasp. So I am getting some rattle at this clasp. You can see the side-to-side play there. They need to be able to tighten that up. That's where a lot of the rattle is coming from, is just this clasp. Talking about the clasp here, you do have the nice big Watchdives logo there, brushed on the top, brushed on the sides, nice big polished chamfer there. So visually it goes nicely with the case. Size-wise, I think it goes nicely with the case. You have 5 levels of micro adjust there, so you should be able to get a really good fitment on this thing. The tolerances inside the clasp all seem pretty good. Maybe a little bit loose there, getting a little rattle from that spot as well. But the big thing is that it opens and closes exactly like you expect it to. There's no hard stops on these things or anything like that. So really happy with that. Really nice on the softness of this clasp. It's never scratched me or anybody else. So yeah, overall, pretty happy with the bracelet itself. The big thing for me is the quick release spring bars. Those are awesome. The end link fitment to the case, really nicely done. You can see how it interacts with that part of the case too. So I'm pretty happy with the bracelet on this watch. It's just the clasp. The clasp gives us a little bit of rattle that shouldn't be there. It does look, you can see here, this link here has a screw in it. So it does look like they're going to allow this to be upgraded in the future to their new on-the-fly clasp, which should be coming out pretty soon. So something to keep in mind, and something that will definitely help this watch feel a little bit more premium. I think the bracelet itself, it's actually pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's San Martin quality, but it's a step up from like Watchdives, it's a step up from Addy's Dive, definitely a step up from Pagani. So yeah, I think the bracelet itself is nice. The clasp itself is nice. It's just when those two interact, you get that little bit of rattle, and it kind of feels a little bit light, a little bit hollow, and a little bit jangly and rattly, which you don't really expect on a watch that's $190 retail. So just something that they can work on in the future. So there you go, guys. That is the Watchdives WD0005, a new release. Go anywhere, do anything, original design. I think the case finishing, the crystal, the dial, the lume, it's all really good. Even the bracelet is actually pretty decent with quick release spring bars. So we're getting some micro brand style features on this watch, and for a fraction of a price of a micro brand. Obviously this isn't going toe to toe with most micro brands. It's going toe to toe with the San Martin SN 129, and maybe even going toe to toe with some of the cheaper brands like let me see what I have here. Maybe the Welly Merc or WM watch brands, and I definitely think it slots in between those two. Yeah, really impressed with the case finishing though. I like what I'm seeing from Watchdives. They've always kind of impressed me with their case finishing. This is no exception. This is really impressive. And you saw that getting it side by side with that San Martin. I think this looks even nicer than the San Martin as far as the case finishing goes. So yeah, really impressed with that. Overall, as a pull package though, I think the watch is great. I think with the new clasp, it's going to feel even better. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.